Welcome to Visa Spotlight, a podcast by Visa that shines a light on the most exciting developments in the payments landscape right now, while also giving you a glimpse into what the future holds for us all.
Welcome to the latest episode of Visa Spotlights. Today we're going to explore the dynamic and evolving landscape for digital payments and commerce across the CEMEA region and look beyond the transaction. Today we're going to explore one of the most exciting and fastest growing areas within payments, which are value-added services. And we'll look at what value-added services are and the value that they bring to consumers, merchants, and financial institutions. We'll also be looking at how Visa is supporting clients with value-added services across the region. I'm joined today by someone who knows this topic better than anyone, Walter Lironi, who leads value-added services and advisory for Visa across the 90 countries across the Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa region. Welcome, Walter. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
So, Walter, to start with, you've got a depth of experience in banking and payments, which you've gained across sort of different roles in different industries. You've been within banks, you've been within strategy and consulting firms, and obviously within Visa on the payment side. Could you talk to me a little about some of the dynamics and some of the shifts that you're seeing that are really driving industry momentum at the moment?
I think the industry is going through a huge revolution. The pace at which new innovation coming into the industry is just impressive. And there are many, many trends behind it. The world is pretty complicated, but let me try to simplify. So I would say there are two fundamental trends that are driving this evolution. From one side, you have the consumer. Consumers are now digitally native. They're becoming more and more demanding, and they want everything to be delivered on the spot, where they are, in the way they want. That's the first trend. The second trend is the technology innovation. The pace at which technology is evolving is impressive. We are really living what I would call a technology revolution. And the good thing is that these two trends are actually reinforcing each other. They are bringing what I usually like to call the digitization of everything. So let me just unpack a little bit these two trends. From a consumer perspective, consumers, as I said, are digitally native. If I have to summarize their own key needs, I would say three things. First, consumers want personalized services. They want to feel unique. They want to feel different. More than 80% of consumers want personalization. The second need of consumer is convenience. Consumers want to be served where they are in the way they want. So, for example, consumers spend more and more time on social media. Let's think about the Gen Z. They spend 40% of their time in social media. That's where they want us to serve them. Convenience is one of the top reasons for choosing specific services. Finally, consumers want trusted services. Trust is a foundational element in the way we serve consumers. The technology element is also pretty interesting. And let me also summarize what's happening from a technological perspective. First, I would say there is a huge surge of mobile phones, right? 2/3 of the world population use mobile phone today. In the UAE, I think 96% of the population use mobile phone. This means commerce is happening on a mobile phone. Think about wallets. We actually expect wallets to double in our CEMEA region by 2028. We expect almost 1 billion wallets. Second element of the technological revolution is cloud computing. Cloud computing is actually democratizing the access to technology and services. Now, fintech, medium-sized company, can access services that in the past they couldn't afford. This enabled them to offer experiences to consumers that were not able to offer in the past. Finally, artificial intelligence. Generative AI, artificial intelligence more broadly, is actually enabling businesses to have a very strong data-driven approach, and this will enable them to use data to offer better experiences to consumers. All this technological innovation is actually also enabled by fast-forward government and regulators.
Yes, it really is fascinating, and it's been such a huge time of change. That digitization of everything driven by both consumer behavior and technology is something I think we all feel, both working in the industry and just as consumers. The way in which we live, we shop, have changed dramatically. What are some of the shifts that you've seen in terms of how some of those forces that you were describing have translated into changes of behavior in digital payments? And what's happening across digital payments in the CEMEA region?
I truly believe payment is not anymore a standalone step in a commerce experience. Payment is becoming embedded in the commerce experience. And this has enabled a huge growth in the region, right? We have more than 350 million credentials now in our CEMEA region. More than 11 million merchants accept our payment credentials. If I think about what has enabled this, right? Contactless, of course, has been a huge driver in the past, and more recently, I would say tokenization is basically enabling new type of payments. Now you can buy things from your car. Your washing machine can trigger a payment request, right? And so there are so more use cases that can be enabled by tokenization. Just to give also some number, we have more than 7 billion token in the world. We have more than 300 million token in CEMEA. All this new technology is really making payment more secure and also is enable this embedded payment that I briefly mentioned. But what I would say also more broadly is what's happening in the industry is also driving a big change from a Visa perspective, right? We used to be known as a key enabler for payment processing. And we are still known for that, and we will be always known for that. But on top of this, Visa has actually invested more and more in building new capability to enable new commerce experiences going beyond the payment processing.
As you say, I think the expectation has changed both in terms of where and when people are able to make digital payments, but also the experience that comes with them at that point of purchase. And I think that's a big part of that is where value-added services come in as well. Now, value-added services are a key growth driver and a key part of Visa's strategy. Could you perhaps just introduce the concepts of value-added services and what they are, and perhaps explain why everyone's so excited about them at the moment?
When I think about value-added services, maybe think a little bit like Visa as a service. Our mission, our objective is really to help our clients and partners to reach their own ambition, to be able to innovate, to move faster, to allow new use cases, right? To enable trusted commerce experiences to their own consumers. That's what we want to do. We want to help our partner and clients to reach this objective. We have a huge set of offerings. We have more than 250 products and services today available for our clients. But what makes me very proud is that actually many of those products were actually born in CEMEA, and now they are sold globally, distributed globally. One of the reasons why they were born in CEMEA is because we are one of the fastest growing region. We are one of the regions with the youngest population that are more demanding, and they want to experiment new use cases, and where innovation is really taking place at scale. What we have been doing recently, we have been trying to bring even stronger consistency among all these set of value-added services, because we want to offer those services with a very customer-centric approach, and we want to have a go-to-market that bring those solutions as one Visa to our clients. But value-added services are not new. The first one were actually launched more than 30 years ago. Our focus now is really about scaling them up and innovating at a faster pace.
Excellent. So maybe we could just go a bit deeper there. And could you talk a little about some of the capabilities which we've got across the value-added services portfolio and some of the benefits that come to clients through the work which your team is doing?
If we think about our value-added services, we have, what I would say, 5 families of offering, right? First of all, we have our issuing solution, so how we enable new digital experiences for our issuer. We have our acceptance solution that is targeted to acquirers, merchants, and PayFacs. Then we have our Visa Protect, our suite of risk solution for every segments of clients. Then we have our advisory services. Our advisory service includes marketing services, includes consulting services, includes a set of data solutions, includes our generative AI, and finally we have our open banking services. And I could spend now hours to discuss about all of them. Let me just give an example on the acceptance front, right? We talked a little bit earlier about the consumer's need. There is also a lot happening on the merchant perspective, on the acquirer perspective, right? Some of the challenges that our merchants are actually facing is about growing their footprint, growing their revenues. How can they reach new segments of clients? How can they go internationally without opening up new branches, right? How can they enable new consumer experiences? We have many solutions within our acceptance solution vertical. One of these is actually our Visa acceptance platform that offers the highest reliability. We have a 99.999% uptime, best in class globally. And this platform can enable very different use cases. And this platform can be consumed in different modules. It allows our merchant to basically reach more than 160 countries through a single integration. They can shop on more than 50 currencies.
So there's obviously lots that's happening within the merchant and the seller space at the moment. But I know your team are very focused on value-added services that support the needs of financial institutions, including issuing banks. Could you talk a little around how value-added services are helping banks in terms of improving their agility, improving efficiency, and driving growth?
Absolutely. We are working on multiple areas. Let me focus on a couple. One on the processing side. So we recently acquired Pismo. Pismo is a cloud-native core banking platform and issuer processing platform. And the reason we acquired them is because we really believe they can fast forward the enablement of new capability with our clients. Some of our clients are still struggling with legacy system, with outdated card management system. That's where Pismo come in with the innovative solution and with a very fast go-to-market. The other areas that is very important from an issuing solution perspective is related to our digital APIs. So basically all those solutions that will help our clients to offer new digital experiences to their own consumers. And instead of going through a long list, let me give you an example. One of the recent solutions that we launched globally, and that was actually born in CEMEA, is our subscription manager solution. I'm sure, Dan, you have multiple subscriptions that you pay every month.
Yes, many.
And I'm sure one day you realize that there was some payment coming through that you were not even aware. You ask yourself, what is that?
Absolutely.
And that's exactly why Subscription Manager comes in. With one click on your own banking app, you will be able to see all your subscriptions. And in case you realize there is something you don't want, with one click you will be able to deactivate it. So it's a very, very nice solution that is really helping our consumers to get in control.
Fantastic. And I think Subscription Manager sounds like an absolute game changer in terms of putting consumers in control over spending, when and where. And I think it also comes back to the point you spoke about earlier in terms of the importance of transparent and trusted transactions for consumers. As we all know, payments security requires constant innovation. I know this is an area that your team is also looking at. A few weeks ago, you launched a new suite of products that are really enabled and driven by AI. Perhaps you could tell us a little around some of those innovations as well.
Within our Visa Protect suite of products, we launched some very important innovation recently. Let me start with the first one. So if you think about a bank, right? A bank historically has been managing their fraud risk through multiple systems. That Visa card, that other schemes card, that other type of payments, and they were using different systems. Now Visa is actually able to offer an enterprise-wide solution. It's our VRM, our Visa Risk Manager platform, that we will be able to consume Visa Advanced Authorization Score that are becoming scheme agnostic. So you can manage all your payment for all your card scheme within this platform. And this is already live with certain clients, and we are deploying at scale in our region. I'm very, very excited about it. The second solution we recently launched is our Visa Provisioning Intelligence. And this is something that I'm so excited as well for the following reason. We launched tokenization, and we all know that tokenization is very secure, and it allows higher approval rates and much lower fraud rates. But fraudsters are also very smart. They have tried to find what is the weak spot in the tokenization process. And they found that spot, that is the moment you tokenize the card. And that's exactly what VPI does, or what Visa Provisioning Intelligence does. It basically scores the action of tokenization, of provisioning your token. And we will provide that score to the issuer within our VRM platform, and the issuer will be able to assess whether that provisioning is secure or not. Last but not least, there is our real-time payment Protect solution. We are seeing the growth of account-to-account push payment transaction. And unfortunately, more and more, we have seen a lot of frauds happening on those transactions. Again, back to the point that fraudsters move around and try to find the weak spot. That's why Visa has built a fraud score and solution to help banks making those type of payments more secure as well. And again, we are also launching this solution now in our region.
We've spoken about some solutions that are aimed at supporting merchants and sellers. We've spoken around some that are aimed at issuing banks and also payment security solutions driven by AI. But I know there's many more. I think there's around 250 different products and solutions within Visa's vast portfolio. How are you and your team sort of engaging with clients to find the right solutions to meet the right needs?
This is a great question, because this is really about how we make sure we are customer-centric and we bring this different solution in a way that the clients can consume and the client can get value out of it, right? Let me give you an example. We were working with one of the major airlines in our CEMEA region, and they were facing a huge level of chargebacks. So they came to us and said, hey, Visa, how can you help us? And that was exactly the moment we realized that, yes, to help you, we need to bring you our Visa acceptance platform. We need to bring you some risk services within our Visa Protect suite. And we brought our decision manager tool. And then we need to bring our advisory team that can really help you understanding where is the issue, what you need to do to solve it. And that's exactly what we did. We worked together for 3 months. We assessed the potential of improvement with our advisory team. We set up our decision manager risk tool, and we helped the client for 1 year in managing their tool with the objective of continuously improving the performance. We were able to increase the acceptance rate by 50%, and we reduced also the operational cost that the client was facing by 72%. This has been an amazing example of how the different value-added services can come together for the interest of the client.
Fantastic. So we've started sort of very broadly today looking at some of the dynamics that are shaping the industry. We've looked at value-added services, the products and solutions, and how we're working with clients. Do you have any sort of final thoughts on the opportunity for value-added services that we haven't discussed so far?
Look, I think Visa is known, right, for all the innovation that we have been bringing to the market. And we have been known historically mainly for our processing payment capability for being the best way to pay and be paid, right? My final message is we can do even more to help our clients to achieve their objective, their ambition. And we really would like to partner even more in the future to make the objectives and the dreams of our client come through. So please, the call for action is, dear client, dear partner, don't look at us only from a pure payment perspective. We have much more we can offer to make you successful.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Walter. It's obviously a fascinating area and one that will continue to grow and evolve moving forward as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you very much for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed the discussion, and you can find out more on Visa's value-added services through the link in the description of the podcast below. Thank you and see you next time.